Back in primary school, being called a crybaby was basically social suicide. Nobody wanted to be friends with someone who couldn't control their emotions. And fair enough, mate. But as we grow up, crying starts to mean something different. It's no longer just, "Mom didn't buy me Call of Duty Black Ops 4. It's grief, love, anger, joy. A mix of feelings too overwhelming to hold in. And no anime explores this better than Devilman Crybaby. From the first episode, you think to yourself, what the fuck have I gotten myself into? But as you keep watching, you realize that the main character, Akira Fudo, and his annoying ass crying has a deeper meaning behind it. Devilman Crybaby shows how being a crybaby isn't weak, but in fact is something that makes Akira strong and the most human to ever human. If you haven't watched Devilman Crybaby yet, then I highly recommend you do. But if you're too lazy to, let me just summarize the show in 60 seconds real quick so you know what the fuck I'm gonna yap about for the next 10 minutes. Ryo and Akira are childhood friends, and one day they go to this sex party cause rumor has it that there are devils there. Ryo masterminds this whole plan and gets Amon, the alpha of devils, to merge with Akira, which would normally turn him into a devil, but Akira's heart is too strong and he retains his humanity while keeping the powers of a devil. It seems Ryo's just a chill guy who wants to rid the world of demons cause they're evil by using Akira's devil powers. The next episode introduces more big bad demons and they become known to the public thanks to Ryo, which causes mass paranoia. Ryo realizes he doesn't know what the fuck he's even doing and what his own motives even are, so he goes on this Zuko alone journey off screen, while humans are massacring each other because they are so scared of devils. In the end, it doesn't really matter. The earth gets factory resetted and they all die tragically ever after. I left out some pretty important details, but that's what the rest of this video is for, so let's get to it. The concept of empathy juxtaposed by the manipulation of humanity is something that replays in my mind constantly, and I want to share that with y'all today. Let's kick off with the first episode. The very first scenes are already brilliant, even though you may not realize it. Akira finds a young boy all alone on the top of a mountain. He reaches out and asks if he's okay. Cut to a shot of a cat on the verge of death. Akira hugs the box tightly, refusing Ryo's complaints to let him kill it. If you can't tell already, Ryo's a little fucked up, and this will be explained later in the show, but since I'm spoiling it anyway, I might as well just tell you now. Ryo is Satan. Yep, he's literally him. And his and Akira's dynamic is an important part of the show I'll discuss later. For now, Akira stops Ryo from killing the cat, but it dies anyway like 5 seconds later, with Akira mourning its death, crying for the first time we've seen. He puts his umbrella over the dead cat's coffin, demonstrating how he puts others before himself, and the ability to cry for the sake of something else. Ryo stays by Akira's side and shields him from the rain with his own umbrella. And despite the fact that he's a literal devil, and he knows that the cat was gonna die, he too sheds tears, but he denies they are from sadness. This foreshadows so much of the core ideas in the show later, as Ryo only cries here because he saw Akira grieving, even though he doesn't know what it means yet. But it's apparent that Akira has something so special that he can even change the heart of a devil. Akira's empathy starts simple, from a pure and instinctual form. But empathy doesn't just stay innocent, it evolves. Fast forward 10 years, and Akira is crying again, but this time it's different. He's not just mourning a cat, he's mourning people he never even met. Miki sees this and asks, was someone sad? Which reaffirms this idea that Akira cries for others, whether to empathize with them or represent those who can't bring themselves to ejaculate a few tears or two. And as the world around him starts to blur the lines between good and evil, Akira's empathy is tested in ways he never imagined. Linking to the main plot of the story, Akira becomes a devilman after merging with Amon, due to his iron heart of gold which the devil couldn't take over, which symbolizes how human he is. This is exemplified by his trait of spontaneously weeping when others are in pain, which counterpoints the negative connotation of the word crybaby, a devilman crybaby. So throughout the show, Akira fights devils, right? Because they kill humans and stuff, so they're obviously the bad guys, right? Yes, that wasn't a trick question or anything. But even so, in episode 5, when Akira fights Celine, a devil who was Amon's sex partner, he starts to wonder if devils are capable of love. In this episode, Celine gets clapped by Akira, but on the verge of death, Kaim offers to merge with her, extending her life just a little longer so she can get vengeance on Akira. From earlier, we see that Kaim likes Celine, and even though it meant sacrificing himself, he just wants to see his girl happy. But unfortunately, they die right before the final blow, with a look of triumph. But this instills the idea of devils having feelings into Akira's mind, which leads to Akira feeling sympathy for even his enemies. This doubt continues into the next episode, but Ryo just gaslights him and reveals his plan to expose this sprinter, Moyuru Koda, as a devil, which will lead to mass panic. Basically, since Ryo is actually Satan, he is subconsciously plotting to kill all humans, and this power move marks the beginning of the end, as the show moves to its final few episodes. Because of this widespread panic and mania, humans start killing each other, since Ryo's breaking news scared them shitless, and Akira sees this and is like, wait, this isn't in the script, marking the end of his and Ryo's partnership. I know this video is focused on Akira and the significance of crying, but it wouldn't be a complete analysis without mentioning Ryo. Essentially, he is the foil to Akira, since he doesn't understand human emotions, yet he remains by Akira's side till the end. At this point in the show, not even Ryo knows who he is. One minute he's saying how humans can win against devils, the next he does a 180, excitedly explaining how devils will win due to the weakness of human emotions. But despite this two-faced personality, he still wishes to keep Akira alive, which is part of the reason he turned him into a devil man. Ryo eventually realizes who he really is, but before all of this, Akira holds on to the belief that humans do have the power to overcome fear and beat devils as he has done himself, and tries to gather his own army of devilmen by encouraging them to regain control of their hearts. The heinous acts from blind hatred he witnesses only empowers him to continue his struggle, like intervening in a public humiliation of innocent people by enduring the pain for them, and telling the Delulu crowd to kill him instead. Akira questions why humans kill and hate each other with tears flowing from his eyes, reflecting on the millions of innocent civilians who have been pointlessly killed or injured by the threat of devils. He's willing to sacrifice himself for others, but his resolve was sneered at, his tears ridiculed and misunderstood by the fear-mongered mob. But Akira still holds hope and is able to remain human, despite losing his parents, Ryo, and his foster parents, thanks to one person, Miki. She is the only one who understands that Akira cries for others, and even though he was exposed as a devilman, she still trusts him because she knows the kind soul Akira has that grounds him to humanity. Miki comes in clutch, writing the most insightful and enlightening tweet of all time, expressing how if we all cried for others and were more thoughtful, peace would be possible. At first, the incel cucktards of Twitter were at it with their usual hatred, but slowly, people began actually understanding what they were reading, and realized she was spitting facts. Humanity finally agrees upon something, and chooses to believe in Akira after Miki outlines Akira's kindness and empathy. It's a shame that moment only lasted 20 seconds, cause everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Akira gets jumped by this bitch-ass coder, and while he's busy fighting some devils, Miki gets hunted by those who opposed her tweet. She tries to escape, but alas, she was unable to see Akira one last time. Her death actually paralyzed me. I just sat there, mouth open, with my last 2 brain cells trying to process what the fuck just happened. In just a couple scenes, Miki lost her best friend, her homeboys, and she couldn't pass the baton to Akira, which symbolized the dream of humanity getting through this war. Akira rushes back, but he didn't make it in time. His house was set ablaze, and the heads of those he cared about protruded from sticks being paraded by the humans who did it. Miki's lifeless eyes stared back at him, and he absolutely loses his shit. This was not the humanity he wanted to fight for. The humanity that became completely devoured by fear and parochialism. The humanity that took away the person he cared for most, and his last hope for a better world. We now get to the last episode where Ryo gives us his entire backstory and officially comes out as as Satan. We see glimpses of the childhood he shared with Akira, and it wraps up with Ryo telling Akira to live as a demon and join him. Part of Ryo is human, and being with Akira allowed him to experience empathy and emotions of humans. And even though he aims to exterminate all humans, he truly cares about Akira. Obviously, Akira says and draws a literal wedge between them. Akira declares that he won't cry for Ryo, and all his tears have dried up, which symbolizes how he's lost all empathy for Ryo after he killed his loved ones. Thanks to Miki's post, devil men like himself have gathered and prepared to fight. Akira doesn't care about humanity anymore, and is fueled solely by vengeance, which I interpret as abandoning his heart and empathy, thus becoming more akin to demons. Psych! Except he is still able to remain in control because the underlying desire for revenge is for the loved ones he's lost. So even with no tears left to cry, he is still human and does this for others, acknowledging the memories he shared with them. This is the meaning of being human, as connecting with others and doing things for the sake of others is a pillar of our dominance over the animal kingdom. An all-out war breaks out. demons versus humans versus devilmen versus God. Akira confronts Ryo for the final showdown and is immediately losing since Ryo is literally fucking Satan. But as he was losing body parts in the fight, the devilmen who he inspired and represented came to his aid, merging with him and giving him the strength to continue on. Tragically, Akira gets no dift and dies at the hands of his best friend. Satan succeeds and humans are eradicated. An Evangelion scene unfolds with Ryo chilling next to Akira on the rock they first met. Flashbacks of the times they spent together play in his mind, and Akira was always there by his side. This is wrapped up perfectly with the first scene of the show, as Akira cries for the cat while Ryo knows it would die regardless, which mirrors the entire journey of Akira and everything ultimately being pointless in the end. And even more fittingly, you know what, just play the scene.
Akira, 俺ばっかりに喋らせるな。Akira, 俺は今、何かを感じているよ。これは何だ？教えろ。なんだ、アキラ。今の俺の気持ちを感じてくれ。話を聞いてくれ。アキラ、俺を見ろ。なんか答えろ。何か言え。嫌だよ、アキラ。俺を一人ぼっちにするな。置いていくな。どこかにいてくれ。何か言ってくれ。アキラ！
Akira Fudo was the heart of humanity. His tears weren't weakness. They were proof that he felt something deeper than even Satan could understand. And in the end, it was Akira's humanity, not his devil powers, that left the biggest impact. Ryo, now truly alone, finally understands what he lost. God's punishment came once more, and the show ends. Does this mean it was all meaningless? There was no point to anything? No. Akira as a character depicts the value of being human. His tears are the greatest example as they represent the peak of emotionality, the complexity of feelings, and how it is connected to society. Akira's story reminds us that to be human is to love, to hurt, to cry, and to keep going anyway. Being able to enjoy the journey and the people you meet along it is what makes life worth living, despite the absurdity of existence in the first place. I hope you enjoyed this massive tangent, and if you have anything to add or if I'm wrong about something, then feel free to yell at me in the comments. I do read all of them. Please consider subscribing if you're new, and until next time whenever that'll be, thanks for watching, and remember that crying isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign that you're living life.